Good morning, Conroe ISD families. I'm Curtis Null, Superintendent of Schools here in Conroe ISD. Appreciate you finding time to join me here in the middle of the day. First and foremost, I hope that you and your family are safe and that your house and all of your homes are in good shape as we deal with this kind of unprecedented flooding event here in our community today. I appreciate you joining the live event. We use these to be able to come to you and talk to you about exactly how and why decisions are made, more so than what we can do in an email. We will follow this up with an email as well, but I wanted you to be able to hear directly from me today. Let me say right off the top here, there is no impending announcement in this video about school closure for tomorrow or about an early release for this afternoon. None of those decisions have been made. I'll talk through those decisions in this video, but there is no big announcement. So I just want to kind of hopefully put you at ease a little bit with that today. Want to say a big thank you today to all of our staff in Conroe ISD for the great work that they've done just to try to make sure that we've got all the kids to school safely today. They're in our buildings right now. Kids are in our buildings. Our buildings are probably the safest place that anyone can be during a weather event. They're there. They're in the loving care of amazing educators. And so everyone is safe at this point, and we're very thankful for that. And we know it's the hard work of transportation department and maintenance and child nutrition for being there, and all of our teachers that really had to leave their family situations to get to school today to make sure they could take care of their students. So I want to say thank you to everyone. This morning was not at all what we expected it to be. I want to tell you the process a little bit. I was on a phone call this morning, a Zoom call at 3:30 this morning with our Office of Emergency Management in Montgomery County. And they do the very best that they can to provide us information. And they provided me and all of our local school districts superintendents information about the weather. The information that we were provided this morning and that said that this line of storms was just going to roll through. It's going to be a normal heavy line of thunderstorms, and then we would move on about our day. At that point, there was no recommendation for a delay. It did not indicate that there was going to be the training situation that we have seen throughout this day. And so we made that decision to move forward. There was consideration of a 2-hour delay, but with the way the storm was moving, the 2-hour delay would have just changed where we were hit. I know when I drove to work this morning at about 6 o'clock or so up in the Conroe area, it was heavy rain here, but I know in South County at that point it wasn't even raining yet. And so the 2-hour delay was not really in play. And the second piece that went into the decision this morning was knowing that the San Jacinto River Authority was going to be forced to do what they've done now, which is increase the flow out of Lake Conroe into the San Jacinto River to a very high rate. We know that we are going to have neighborhoods flood today. And knowing that if we canceled school, we would be leaving children at home in neighborhoods, in homes that we knew were going to go underwater today before their parents could get back home from work. It was a very heavy burden. And had we known the weather was going to be as bad as it was today, we would have still made the decision to close. But hearing the information that we heard, the best decision at that point was to have school. So I know there's no perfect answer to that. I apologize for putting folks into difficult situations. It is why we always encourage you to make personal decisions. But I want the best for you, your family, our employees as well. Never want to put anyone in harm's way, but there are a lot of factors that go into these decisions. So once again, had we known it would be what it was, we would have closed. But we're here now. We have kids in school and they are safe. And so how do we move forward from this point? There has been no decision at this point to have an early release, and I'll explain why that is. Number one is we only want to roll buses when it's safe to do so, and we only want to put kids into safe situations. An early release situation where we put children on a bus and take them home early, we could be introducing them into a dangerous situation when their parents are still not at home. And that's a scary thought for us. Now, if we get indication from the county that there is a window that's the better time to roll our buses rather than normal time, we will heed that advice as we always do. But at this point, we have not heard that information. So we are scheduled to be on a normal release time. Now, It is fine if you choose to pick your children up early. We have a lot of different situations throughout the school district. Some areas have surface flooding and it's gone down and things are much better, but other areas that have waterways and the river are only going to get worse as the day continues, and we understand that you need to make those choices as a family. Your children will not be held accountable for any tardies today, any absences, or if you choose to pick them up early. So that is a choice that you can make. We support you in that. Want you to do absolutely what is best for your family. So just to go back over that, it's a question that's come up. Will these absences or tardies hurt my child? Will it count against exemptions or things of that nature? It will not. So you can absolutely make that decision to go pick up your children before we release today. Right now we are scheduled for normal release. We will only roll the buses if it's safe to do so and where it is safe to do so. So if there are areas of our school district that are flooded that we can't get to, we will not roll a bus into a dangerous situation. We'll be in contact with you about coming to get your child or making other arrangements for someone to get your child. I will tell you that there may be delays in bus service this afternoon because some roads may be impassable. That would force us to go around and take a longer route than we normally would to get to a particular neighborhood. So, excuse me. So I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page with that. So normal release at this time. Once again, that could change if we receive additional information, but we will communicate that with you. Another question that's come up quite a bit is some students were scheduled to take the STAR test today. Montgomery County has declared a disaster due to this situation, which means the TEA will extend our testing window, so that is no problem on testing. We can extend that. It'll be a makeup day at a later time. Your campus will communicate that with you as well. Here's what we know about this afternoon into this evening. We are going to have a major, very significant flooding event along the West Fork of the San Jacinto River. The San Jacinto River Authority is releasing over 60,000 gallons per second of water at this point, which is an unbelievable amount of water. And that is going to impact everybody downstream. So our neighborhoods that we know are in harm's way, efforts are being done right now to evacuate those areas. And I think as a community, what I hope that we're all prepared for, those of us that may not have our homes impacted from this event, I hope that we're all ready to support those families because they're going to need our support, because this is going to be a very difficult next few days throughout Montgomery County as families deal with this significant amount of water. So at the very least, I hope that you will keep them in your thoughts and prayers and be ready with the humanitarian efforts to support them as we come out of this flood in the coming days. Now, as we look to tomorrow and the question about school for tomorrow, there's no decision that's been made, but let me tell you the factors that will go into making that decision. First and foremost, the weather forecast. As we saw this morning, they're not always super reliable. I know the meteorologists do the best they can with the information they have, but things change rapidly, so we'll take that into account as well. We also will have to consider mobility issues within the county. Can we get our staff to the buildings to work tomorrow? As they continue to release water into the San Jacinto River, that raises the water level both crossing under 105 and at I-45. The county has told me that those roads should remain passable even with this level of release, but as we've learned today, things can change at a moment's notice as well. So we will monitor that throughout the night. We also have to balance with the county if they need any of our schools to serve as shelters for folks that may be displaced from the water. So we'll continue to work with the county and make that decision as well. One thing to note is if we do have to close tomorrow and that decision needs to be made, we will have a little bit of makeup time. We have already been closed one full day. We had one late arrival. Our calendar has 2 full days built in it of makeup time, but the state will require us, I believe, to have some makeup time. It's only about 40 minutes at this point, and we will likely add it to the final day of school. We have early release that day, so we would just maybe adjust the times on that early release, but I want to make you aware of that. These decisions are not without consequence on that front either, but we'll work with the state to see if we could get that waived, but just want to make you aware that that could happen. Know that we will make the call about tomorrow as soon as we possibly can. I know that it's difficult on everybody when calls come first thing in the morning. I believe that most of the factors that will impact tomorrow's decision should be known this afternoon into the early evening. And so we should be able to make that decision and communicate it with you all as early as possible so that you can know before you go to bed this evening what your plans are for tomorrow and how to best take care of your children. So once again, I want to say thank you to all of our staff for the work that you've done. Once again, I wish that I were a meteorologist, and I wish that I had control of the weather. I don't have that ability. I can only make the best decisions I can with the information given, and unfortunately it just changes sometimes. So I'm sorry that we were put into some very difficult situations this morning, but I thank you all for your support of your campuses and the great work that they have done. And want you all to stay safe, and we'll communicate any updates that we can just as quickly as possible. Thank you.